Meow, meow, meow. Testing audio. And I hear myself. I hear myself is quite low. Yeah. Okay, I have so much to do. I have so much to do. It's okay. We take it slow. I take it. Mm, too low, maybe. Okay. It's all okay. I took a nap earlier. And then I woke up and suddenly it's like my brain was working. Good morning. How are you? How was your sleep? Let's see if I remember how to do this. I should probably write it down too. I should write it down too. No. Deep dreamless. I already forgot how to do it. Wait. Is it P? Okay, let's not get. So many things happened. I woke up. I thought of a new idea for this, another way of approaching this terminal thing, and I got it to work. But then I realized I kept like having issues with something. Okay, there's a lot going on. I started having issues with Libra Wolf all of a sudden. So I tried to fix that for like like an hour plus, and then I just was like, all right. Since I was already having that issue with the container thing in YouTube, I'll try a different browser. And I've been seeing some stuff about Waterfox. I'm pretty sure it's not as hardened as LibreWolf, but it's pretty sleek. So I've been using it, and I've been trying it out. I like it so far. I like it so. I don't know why it wants to make all these connections. I'm doing that, not right now. Anyway, I do need a window. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. This is where I left off before. This is a tool that I was trying to learn to use. And it doesn't come with instructions. Put your cursor over the text you want to send, type Control C, the same as slime. You can just hold Control, double tap C. The current paragraph, what you would be selected if you press VIP, is automatically selected. To control what is sent, you manually select before calling Vim slime. So first of all, even calling Vim slime is not actually like, oh god, this is so fucking vague. It's so bad and vague. This is not how it works at all. And then on their blog, they have you know, maybe it plays, and actually let me check to see this on a different browser. Maybe it's because I couldn't watch the demo. Maybe I'm complaining about something. Yeah. God, you can talk to him for 10 minutes. And going to a website requires so many connections. And oh wait, that's it. This is R, this is Vim. Right? Control CC to send text. Control C, Control C. Okay, the demo doesn't, yeah, the demo also, like I thought, doesn't show any information. Hi, Aspect. Welcome home. How was your day? Deny. Okay. So this has a lot of words and none of it is that useful. To me, because I want to know how to use Vim Slime. I don't want to know how to build it or whatever, which is my own issue. Okay. So that guy who wrote Vim Slime wrote this blog post about it, and he assumes that the user must be familiar with Ruby for some reason. Nothing of note happened. I live type. I fixed the thing. I'm gonna demonstrate, but first I have to get it off my chest that is, I feel like, okay, so it's definitely my skill issue. I think if you know what if you know what you're doing, you could probably understand this. So he wrote these instructions, and I followed it, right? Even down to this part, but I didn't understand this. This is for the demo. Like, I don't know what a register R is, but I copied it. And then he's like, oh, but I want this automated, so I made the plugin, right? He made the plugin. He made the plugin! Anyway, what I'm trying to say, you gotta start screen first, which he didn't tell me to do. He didn't tell me to do that. He didn't tell me to do anything like that. I've never used screen before. So you use screen, and you name the session. I'm gonna call it cat. And then you can name the window, I guess, or open a window. I don't know what this does. Control. I'm just gonna do it. Control A. It doesn't do anything, does it? No other window. Wait. Okay, yeah, here. Then Control A, Shift A. You could change the title. So I'll just call this 1. And then theoretically, this window right now, this terminal, should be cat 1. This should theoretically be cat 1. Oh, so it's font too small. Sorry. It's because I was doing other things before. Hi, the consultant. It's alright. Hope you're doing well. I did so many things. And then, okay. Are you following me? Are you following me? And then, let's wait 1 second. We're gonna. Then we open chicken, because I don't know what the fuck herb is. I'm not using Ruby. Okay, we have chicken. Chicken it's here. Now I'm gonna open another terminal window. And I'm gonna go to wherever the heck I put my notes. My notes, my silly little notes. And I'm gonna open some notes randomly. I'm gonna open note number 3 because, well, actually, yeah, let's open note number 3. Why not? Okay. So now, oops. Theoretically, we got chicken up here, and then we got this window over here, and this is chicken in the screen, right? So I can select everything. I could select everything and do Control C, Control C. I think I did it too slow. Okay, and now it says screen session name, and I put it was cat, and then the window name was 1. And it's doing something. I don't know what it's doing. Maybe I put too much in there at once. Maybe I put too much in there. Anyway, we could try again. Let's try with something simpler. Maybe I put too much in there at once, and maybe there's mistakes in this code. Let's try it like this. If we do 1 plus 1, and then we do Control C, Control C. It's 2. It's right here. It's 2. Add some print statements. I forgot how to print in Lisp and Scheme. And then the other thing I did was that personally, I hate it. I hate it when like the window is too full when I'm doing stuff. So I wanted to clean it up. And it said that like to clear this, because whenever I would press control, it would like, if I would press control L, it would just type that. It doesn't like clear. So then I had to go into the RC file and I made a little thingy. Isn't it just print? Maybe it's print. I don't know. I'll test that after. But I want to see if this works. So I made this. And now it clears all of the garbage. It clears the garbage. Okay, but since we're using Scheme, we don't need full quotes, I'm pretty sure. I think we could just do print and then run. Maybe we need to. I forget. It's okay. There we go. Okay, does it put the... Maybe... Wait. Meow, meow, meow. There- There's so much more. There's so much more to do. Wait, why did I do a backtick instead of a quotation? Wait, wait. Anyway. There's more stuff I don't remember, guys, but I'm just happy. I'm really happy. I'm happy that I can clear my garbage after I make mistakes. I'm happy that, you know, for all the folks that doubted me, I wanted me to use VS Code, I found a solution that makes me way happier. It's clean. It's clean. Anyway, is it like this? Okay, it's like this. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Anyway, I feel so happy to get that off my chest. I'm feeling much better. Enjoy chicken. Um, the other thing though is because I spent so much time doing this stuff, I'm really behind on VODs again. I'm behind on VODs again, so I need to watch a bunch of VODs. What is that lack of emotions? Gotta put some practice. You won't regret it if you program. Oh, yeah. I'm an idiot. How do I turn... Yeah, I use Vim motions like not well enough. I should turn off the ability to use the arrow keys for sure. I should turn off the arrow keys. I know like to jump to the beginning of the line, the end of the line, the beginning of the page, the end of the page, to jump between lines. I know how to jump back and forth between words, but who the heck has time to count the number of words on a line? You know? It's just like, I haven't figured that out yet. Okay. Oh, anyway, I wanted to keep this because I know I'm gonna forget again. Let's see. You do screen session name, and then I don't like this. I'm just gonna control no. Control C. Meow 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 meow. Window name. Window name. Session name. Window name. And then actually I'm gonna write it differently. Start a new screen session in terminal. That's step number 1. And name it. Step number 2. Create a window and name that. And then open a new terminal window. Wah 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 wah. Is it in here? Is it in here? Come on, come on, come on. Jeebus, 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 jeebus. Here it is. Command. Command N. Edit Vim. Vim. File name. Dot. Whatever. Write your code in Vim and then start Vim slime. Have you considered using a cursor or a more comprehensive IDE? Hope that isn't out of line for whatever you're doing here. Using cursor. What's cursor? And no, I don't want to use a comprehensive IDE. Moon doesn't want to use what she terms spyware. No, 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 no. It's even more hipster than that. It's like, don't want to use spyware. Also, like, I want to learn things, and I feel like some IDEs are so complicated with so many things that are easy to gloss over and not understand what they are or what they're for. At least with Vim, I get to struggle. I get to struggle. And then if I need something, if I need some feature, there's probably an app for that, a plugin for that, an extension for that. It took me years to learn how to properly use a debugger. Nice. I don't know what a debugger is yet. I know theoretically. Merry Christmas, Summer 9038. Control C. Control C. And then meow, 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 meow. Provide the session and window name. Oops. 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 Meow, 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 meow. Yeah. The first two steps. And then what do we do? And then, select whatever code you want and send it to the screen. Yeah. So the other beauty of this tool compared to Emacs Slime is Emacs Slime only works with theme and Lisp as far as I'm aware. This tool can be used with so many things. You could use it with so many things. I could use it with JavaScript and Node. I could use it with, I don't know any other languages right now. I could use it with Python probably. Hi Solo, cute. There's a balance between learning and productivity. This isn't being judged. Um, meow, meow, meow. I do think so too. I definitely think there's a balance somewhere, but I will say that, like, raise your hand. How many of you guys sincerely believe that this is like my first time ever playing with these kinds of tools and these kinds of activities, right? This is exactly my issue. I've been tinkering and trying to, like, make my way through things that I don't understand for years. I've been doing it for years, but I never had a foundational I never had foundational knowledge. So I don't want to rob myself of that because other people with higher IQs can make connections quicker. So maybe they don't need all the other steps, they just fill it in. But for me, I felt like I had a lot of gaps. How can you call this the first time I'm diving in deep, though? What makes you say that? IQ is lower. It's my first time, like, sticking to like a learning how to program course on my own, or like a book on my own that's not for a grade. But there's a familiar fumbling around in code base, deep in exploring stuff. It's okay, sound like an old man if you want. So like, yeah, I feel like, then you, I think then you overestimate me even more, cuz it's not my first time trying to dive deep and get things working. Um I think I just had like even more, like even less understanding. I mean, I could list things, right? We talked about, setting up Linux on my own. Uh, getting Docker to work. Getting Docker to work. Oh my god. Right now I'm running a Docker container for Posters. It's a really, I think I should talk to LiveType about Posters before. It's a fun little tool. If I, but I also have another one. I have another one that I got up and running for some like for some self-hosted accounting, um, self-hosted accounting stuff. Docker has been the greatest software innovation the past decade. Mm, meow, 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 meow. Um, like I said before, I have um, I have a lot of I have a lot of websites. They're not good though. So, like, I don't want to really dox myself too much, so I don't want to share like on my GitHub or whatever, stuff like that. But yeah, I made a personal blog using Hugo and, oh my god, Netlify. Where is it? Where's Hugo? They get acquired. And then I migrated. Um, there's an inflection point where it clicks and it feels natural. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I migrated all of those sites to. Oh, man, there's so many little things, right? Like, I'm not saying these are hard, by the way. I'm just saying that it took it took a lot of work and effort, right? So purchasing my domains, um, when Google domains got bought out by Square, moving all of my sites to another registrar, and then having a separate registrar for my host. And then I also did a migration for the host because I told some of you before I used to be a Cloudways customer after doing some research. But then they got acquired too, and they changed a lot, and I didn't like them anymore. So then I moved everything over to Vulture. But then I was afraid of moving to Vulture too because, like, Um, because Cloudways is managed hosting, right? And Vulture, I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to do it myself, but I did move it over. Yeah, yeah. But the whole time though, I would say that every step was painful. I've always done everything myself, just paying for BPS since the very beginning. I like that. Yeah, yeah. I think though the other thing too, I have no idea what people's experience is like, but I always got the sense that I'm starting in the wrong place or I'm skipping too many steps, so I don't understand what I don't understand. So like, yeah, this new journey that I'm on now is sort of like I just want to go back to the foundations and figure out the principles that everything works on and then go from there. I don't even know how computers work. I don't know how memory works or storage works. I don't know anything about like low level code. I mean, what do you want to create? Like a concrete goal. Um, I want to be able to create um okay, if I'm being the least ambitious, I want to be able to create my own website without depending on so many um things. Like I would like to be able to create a blog with a workflow where I'm not depending on someone else's like CMS or whatever, even just for a static site where I could like write my articles from I don't know, in Markdown and then just have them like push them to the site. Raw dog the VPS. Come on the accent take. That's like on the lower end. And then stay away from things too low level. It's as far as you should go without a real need for speed. I wasn't talking about that. And then a less ambitious goal, or maybe more ambitious. Actually, yeah, more ambitious goal. I want to be able to contribute to like at least one open source project that I like and use. So I don't know what that looks like either. I'm very, very lost. I feel like there's a lot of different directions I could go. But the key thing I want to feel is like, I want to feel a sense of self assuredness where I have belief in myself that I can figure out the thing that I need to figure out, right? Like, this is the wizard magic that I think engineers have. They can think of an idea and then, as long as they have the resources and tools, they can bring it to life. I have all these ideas and I can't bring anything to life because I don't have the skills or knowledge. Hi, sheeple. Yeah, maybe the hardware stuff is like years away. But for now, I want to get. Yeah, for now, I want. Oh, I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys because why not? There's this program called Launch School that I really like because I fell for the marketing. But I can't afford because it's too expensive. It's $200 a month. It's so expensive. But it's about like mastery based learning. Learning so this slowing down. Launch School is for people who want to be software engineers. And I thought maybe a couple years ago I might want to be, but then I changed my mind or whatever. But I never forgot about their philosophy of like, yeah, learning the little things and then building up and building up. And what I like about their program too is that you study and study and study, and along the way you make projects and stuff. But with the professional capstone, it's not just like it's not like a boot camp project or a course project that everyone does. They try to launch a real product that like people use. You want to be one? Ray Casso, I don't want to be like. I don't want to be one for someone else. I don't want to be one for a job. Like, working for someone else. But I wouldn't be opposed to it for myself. Does that make sense? Like an independent solo dev. Maybe. We'll see, we'll see. Who's Doug Doug? That's a streamer, isn't that? I don't know who Duck Duck is, but maybe, maybe like Duck Duck. There are, so actually VTubers and stuff, streamers are kind of a good example. There are some streamers that like can make a lot of really cool things. Meow meow meow. I don't have the skill set of managing people, so I don't know about that. But me, I mean that's something I should learn too. Not managing people, but how to work in a group. I really would like to work on like, yeah, I want to work and contribute to some sort of like He's a very competent programmer who leverages AI for streaming content. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Then like Doug Doug. I don't know what he does, but yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Interesting. Management is also an acquired skill, by the way. I didn't say that it wasn't. Meow, 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 meow. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun and I shall continue the little journey, but I guess I guess yeah. I just wanted to get on and share that because I was really excited. I think that's the most fun part when like when something doesn't work and then you make it work. I think it's like it's really really fun. Oh man. Management would take a lot of experience. I wouldn't recommend lists per se unless the challenge is enticing. Well, experience that you will gain one day. Hmm. What does it matter if it's Lisp or something else, right? So I'm reading a book and learning and doing exercises that use Lisp, but Lisp isn't the point of it. Like Lisp is not the point of it's just to learn. I have like yeah, I'm lacking fundamental knowledge on things like yeah, logic, algorithms, stuff like that. How to write programs. Um, and then I don't know. Again, it could be the marketing of this book, but I think they made a good argument for it as a tool in that Lisp is a language that kind of apparently gets out of the way. Like there's not much syntax kind of things to worry about so much. It's very straightforward. You can basically learn the rules, right, of Lisp in like 5 minutes. Now learning like all of the different things in it or whatever, that's like a whole other ball game. Or like how to use it well is like a whole other thing. But the fundamental stuff, right? But but definitely yeah, there are, I don't know. The other thing that's hard for me too though is that like I don't have I don't have close friends or relationships with anyone who's like I don't have like a mentor or something. Personal experience, the best way to learn is pick a smallish project, build it, you learn as you go. It can't be too small, but needs to be on the edge of your skill set. Okay, life type, but that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say I've picked projects, but I don't think they were useful. Or not useful. I think that, let me say it again. I've picked projects and I learned some things. Okay, so another one that I'm leaving out a lot is like, I haven't talked about this in detail because it's kind of awkward, but before, um, before like the chat GPT and other AI stuff really started to like blow up, like when there were just whispers about it, I was using Python and um um I forget Google's like library for this, but I was using Jupyter Notebook scripts to transcribe audio. Now turning audio into text is trivial, right? So this is not a thing that one has to figure out how to do really. But I was working for some physicians that had like they had very heavy accents and their what do you call it? They would record their patient visit notes and I had to transcribe it and I was like, why would I type this out when I could get a program to do it? So then I had that. But I couldn't write it from scratch. I couldn't do it from scratch. I had to like find bits and pieces of code on the internet and kind of concoct a thing so that I could pass an audio file through it and then get the transcription. Anyway, what I'm saying is, yeah, I feel like I can get dirty jobs done, but I don't have understanding. There's a Mooney who was helpful, mentor to me. He might live a state over. Made me feel closer than any friend I've had in a long time. Really, Ray? That's funny. That's good. That's good. That's good. Meow, meow, meow. Also, like, I feel like, I'm not a good student. I think good students have to trust their teachers and take feedback. I think yeah, a good teacher mentor relationship like Marcus Aurelius and Fronto is something kind of intimate, and I don't have one of those. But yeah, when you have whenever you can make a good relationship with someone that can teach you or guide you, that's something to appreciate. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow. It's also really interesting though being on I think part of it too is like I'm intentionally choosing to slow down, which may not be smart because I can't go too slow. If I go too slow, then I won't really learn anything well, probably. But yeah, with AI and super intelligence, um, you know, being able to do a lot of these kinds of things, I feel like, yeah, there's definitely, how do I say it? I feel like there's definitely going to be a lot of people who skip all this stuff and just jump to like trust the AI to do it. Because it definitely can. Thank you, Lifetime. I feel shy. I don't even know what those words mean, but yeah. It was really fun. It's exciting. Oops. And let's see. Procedures as black box abstractions. Square root is our first example of a process defined by a set of mutually defined procedures. Notice that the definition of square root iter is recursive. That is, the procedure is defined in terms of itself. The idea of being able to define a procedure in terms of itself may be disturbing. It may seem unclear how such a circular definition can make sense at all, much less specify a well-defined process to be carried out by a computer. This will be addressed more carefully in section 1.2, but first let's consider some other important points illustrated by the square root example. Observe that the problem of computing square roots breaks up naturally into a number of subproblems. How to tell whether a guess is good enough, how to improve a guess, and so on. Each of these tasks is accomplished by a separate procedure. The entire square root program can be viewed as a cluster of procedures shown in figure 1.2 that mirrors the decomposition of the problem into subproblems. We have the square root, and then we have the iterator, and then there's good enough that involves these procedures, square and absolute, and then if if the guess is not good enough, then there's improve that uses average. Wow, 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 wow. The importance of this decomposition strategy is not simply that one is dividing the program into parts. After all, we could take any large program and divide it into parts, the first 10 lines, the next 10 lines, the next 10 lines, and so on. Rather, it is crucial that each procedure accomplishes an identifiable task that can be used as a module in defining other procedures. For example, when we define the good enough procedure in terms of square, we are able to regard the square procedure as a black box. We are not at that moment concerned with procedure how the procedure computes its result, only with the fact that it computes the square. The details of how the square is computed can be suppressed, to be considered at a later time. Indeed, as far as the good enough procedure is concerned, square is not quite a procedure, but rather an abstraction of a procedure, a so-called procedural abstraction. At this level of abstraction, any procedure that computes the square is equally good. Thus, considering only the values they return, the following two procedures for squaring a number should be indistinguishable. Each takes a numerical argument and produces the square of that number as the value. The defined square of x as x times x, or as log x double log. I don't. Wait. My brain hurts. Meow. I don't know what EXP does. That just exponent? But why is there only one thing? I don't know. I trust it. I just don't understand it. And then define double x as x plus x. I never use it because my embedded background. um, well, it says here double is addition. So log, I mean, we could try it. I don't understand what exp means though. Is it just like raised to something? Raised to what? Raise what to what, right? Let's see. Where's log? Is there a log on here? Yes, there is. 2 log plus 2 log. I don't know what exp means. I'm probably butchering this. This is why I think I need more math. I need more math. I'll come back to this. I'll highlight this. I'll come back to this someday. I'll know what this means one day. I haven't done anything with logarithm in a long time. Okay. So a procedure definition should be able to suppress detail. The users of the procedure may not have written the procedure themselves, but they may have obtained it from another programmer as a black box. A user should not need to know how the procedure is implemented in order to use it. Local names. One detail of a procedure's implementation that should not matter to the user of the procedure is the implementer's choice of names for the procedure's formal parameters. Thus, the following procedures should not be distinguishable. Square of x is x times x, or square of y is y times y. It's not even clear which of these procedures is a more efficient implementation. This depends on the hardware available. There are machines for which the obvious implementation is the less efficient one. Consider a machine that has extensive tables of logarithms and anti-logarithms stored in a very efficient manner. This principle that the meaning of a procedure should be independent of the parameter's name used by its author seems on the surface to be self-evident, but its consequences are profound. The simplest consequence is that the parameter names of a procedure must be local to the body of the procedure. For example, we use square in the definition of good enough in our square root procedure. The intention of the author of good enough is to determine if the square of the first argument is within a given tolerance of the second argument. We see that the author of good enough used the name guess to refer to the first argument and x to refer to the second argument. The argument of square is guess. If the author of square used x as above to refer to that argument, we see that the x in good enough must be a different x than the one in square. I was thinking about this before. When I was doing this one. So one of the problems, it was like, make the square rooter, but make it for cubed roots. And I was thinking to myself, there's a lot of X's and Y's in here. But they're kind of like different things depending on which procedure it's in. Anyway. I don't know. Anyway. Running the procedure square must not affect the value of x that is used by good enough, because that value of x may be needed by good enough after square is done computing. If the parameters were not local to the bodies of the respective procedures, then the parameter x in square could be confused with the parameter x in good enough, and the behavior of good enough would depend upon which version of square was used. The square would not be the black box we desired. A formal parameter of a procedure has a very special role in the procedure definition in that it doesn't matter what name the formal parameter has. Such a name is called a bound variable, and we say that the procedure definition binds its formal parameters. The meaning of a procedure definition is unchanged if a bound variable is consistently renamed throughout the definition. Interesting. If a variable is not bound, we say that it's free. The set of expressions for which a binding defines a name is called the scope of that name. In a procedure definition, the bound variables declared as the formal parameters of the procedure have the body of the procedure as their scope. In the definition of good enough above, guess and x are bound variables, but less than, minus, absolute, and square are free. The meaning of good enough should be independent of the names we choose for guess and x, as long as they are distinct and different from less than, minus, absolute, and square. If we renamed guess to absolute, we would have introduced a bug by capturing the variable absolute. It would have changed from free to bound. The meaning of good enough is not independent of the names of its free variables, however. It surely depends upon the fact, external to this definition, that the symbol absolute names a procedure for computing the absolute value of a number. Good enough will compute a different function if we substitute cosine for absolute in its definition. Okay, fine. Internal definitions and block structure. We have one kind of name isolation available to us so far. The formal parameters of a procedure are local to the body of the procedure. The square root program illustrates another way in which we would like to control the use of names. The existing program consists of separate procedures. Define square root of x as this thingy, and then define this thingy and guess x. If good enough, guess x. Oh, this is longer. Wait. Now, if good enough, guess x and guess. If not, do it again and improve. Yeah, this is just the same thing we've seen before. Okay. The problem with this program is that the only procedure that is important to users of square root is square root. The other procedures, square root, iterator, good enough, and improve, only clutter up their minds. They may not define any other procedure called good enough as part of another program to work together with the square root program because square root needs it. The problem is especially severe in the construction of large systems by many separate programmers. For example, in the construction of a large library of numerical procedures, many numerical functions are computed as successive approximations and thus might have procedures named good enough and improve as auxiliary procedures. We would like to localize the sub-procedures, hiding them inside square root so that square root could coexist with other successive approximations, each having its own private good enough procedure. That makes a lot of sense. To make this possible, we allow a procedure to have internal definitions that are local to that procedure. For example, in the square root problem, we can write define square root x, define good enough, improve, square root iterator, all inside. Ah, this is this is so cool. Is e to the x. Okay. So then e to the man, I want to do that again. Let's see if it works. Man, 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 no, no. I don't know if that did what I thought it was gonna do. Wait a minute. I don't think that did what I thought it was gonna I don't know what I thought it was gonna do, but I don't think that's what it was. I don't think that's what I thought, man. Okay, anyway, I'll leave that alone. That's for another day. Okay. Such nesting definitions called block structure is basically the right solution to the simplest name packaging problem. But there's a better idea lurking here. In addition to internalizing the definitions of the auxiliary procedures, we can simplify them. Since x is bound in the definition of square root, the procedures good enough, improve, and square root iterator, which are defined internally to square root, are in the scope of x. Thus, it is not necessary to pass x explicitly to each of these procedures. Instead, we allow x to be a free variable in the internal definitions as shown below. Then x gets its value from the argument with which the enclosing procedure is called. This discipline is called lexical scoping. Okay. So now, instead of having x's all over the place, we have square root of x, good enough guess. Actually, there's still x's, but there's not, maybe there's not as many. Wait, let me look at the difference. Okay, instead of having both, it's just one. Wait, why is that? Huh. Improve guess. I want to see how this works. Define good enough and then guess. And then take the square of guess. And then subtract x. The absolute value is it less than 0.001. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for good enough. And then improve average gas. Yeah. X and gas. Meow, 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 meow. If good enough. If guess is good enough, then guess. If not, improve it. How was it written before? Huh. Meow, meow, meow. I guess you don't need to write it again because it's already in the square root thingy. It's already up here, so it doesn't need to be in this one. Too many X's in one place could be uncomfortable. You haven't watched Exchange. You need to watch Exchange season 4, Transfer Love season 4. New episode will be out on Thursday. The first one. We're talking about the time I had that bug. I had a bug when I was testing this because I wanted to see what would happen if I put a 1 in here instead of 1.0. And that was really funny. It was not good. It was not good. Anyway. We will use block structure extensively to help us break up larger programs into tractable pieces. The idea of block structure originated with the program language ALGOL 60. It appears in most advanced programming language and is an important tool for helping to organize the construction of large programs. Lexical scoping dictates that free variables in a procedure are taken to refer to bindings made by enclosing procedure definitions. That is, they are looked up in the environment in which the procedure was defined. We will see how this works in detail in Chapter 3 when we study environments and the detailed behavior of the interpreter. Embedded definitions must come first in a procedure body. The management is not responsible for consequences of running programs that intertwine definitions and use. Uh-oh. Okay, so I think, in addition to this book, though, the reason why I got to this book is because of the Berkeley course, the CS61A. It's like a pretty whatever. If you know, you know. It's a course. But I thought it was too hard for me. But I saw that I liked their, so they have like a version of the textbook. It's here, I think. Actually, that's not the one. That's a different one. Where is it? Composing programs. Yeah. So they have this book, which is adapted from the book that we're currently reading. So then I was like, okay, this course is going way too fast for me. Can I just like take a look at the book that it's based on and go that way? But this Berkeley course has been it's been using the same textbook for over 20 years, but it's changed and adapted over time. So the current course doesn't do a lot of scheme. I think it does a little bit of scheme at the end, but it mostly does Python. And anyway, it's like open. You could find all about. You can follow the course and do it from wherever. Um, but it turns out there's older versions of the course that follow the list book. And I'm like, okay, I think I like that more. So I'm gonna continue to use the Berkeley course in conjunction with this with the text. So we just finished the reading. And I did all the problems for 1.1. And then we'll do the whole so what I'm saying is instead of reading 1.2 right away, I'm going to be uh doing the homework problems for the Berkeley version. Uh the week 1 homework. So pages 1 to 31. So first problem, do exercise 1.6 on page 25. This is an essay question. Which I did already. We already did this one. We did this one. Number 2, write a procedure squares that takes a sentence of numbers as its argument and returns a sentence of squares of the numbers. 2 hours, 15 minutes till love talk. Thank you. Okay, let's try that. Guys, help. How do I delete a no, never mind. I tried to hell no. Okay, fine, fine, fine. I won't use it. I won't use it. I won't do it. I won't do it. Let's just do it. Download. Yeah. Fine. Um, um, um. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Meow. Meow meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow. Hmm. I should get ready for stream. I don't want to do. I don't want to do. Meow 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 meow. Meow meow meow. I don't know how to write this. Okay, I don't think I could put that there. Or can I not put it there, or does it just because they during the expansion and define lambda list expected define squares quote whole history define squares quote. I don't know what a lambda list. So write it. Oh, is that what it means? I don't have time to do. Okay, that doesn't help. I stop here. I stop here for now. Man, this is gonna take forever. I gotta go. Sorry, I wasn't looking at chat. Hi, Cool MP. Hi, Mama again. Hi, Great Ninja. Of course, I'm tired. I am tired. Really tired. I'm not gonna read this because it doesn't. I don't think this conversation was for me. By the way, you guys don't have to watch this. I forgot. I don't know. I feel like some of you guys are just being loyal, but you don't have to watch this. I'm like really just trying to just trying to learn some stuff. It's not like it's not these streams are not for your entertainment is what I mean. These streams are just because I struggle with executive dysfunction. So it helps me stay. I'm leaving now though. Bye.